In this video, our guest Tarek from ZoneTools talks about the importance of impressions in Amazon PPC. He will give us some tips on what to do when sellers see no impressions or low impressions in their reports, which means that the advertising is not visible for customers. In that case, you cannot get clicks to your product page, and this means no sales. ZoneTools is a software for Amazon sellers which helps to optimize and automate PPC campaigns, and if you would like to try their tool, you will find the link below in the description, as well as a 15% discount code. And in case you will find anything useful in this session, don't forget to hit like below this video, subscribe to our channel. And now I would like to invite you to listen to the conversation with Tarek, which is hosted by Lisette Lees. She works with different Amazon brands and she co-hosts Orange Click videos.
Hi Tarek, it's great to have you here today. Before we go into your slides, could you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do in the Amazon space?
Hi there. We are ZoneTools and we are automating Amazon advertising with our algorithms. We have a built-in system in place and we use it to help our Amazon sellers to manage their Amazon PPC in an automated way.
Okay, sounds great. So today we're going to talk about impressions. So first off, could you explain why understanding impressions and understanding why it's important to pay attention to impressions is important for Amazon sellers?
I'm sure when you have a product out there, you want that to be visible to the buyers, and this is only the great way to achieve that is to advertise your product for sure. And when you advertise the product, it's not guaranteed that you put $1,000 budget and Amazon will spend all of it, or at least a part of it. Sometimes you're stuck with spending just a fraction of it, or sometimes none of it. So the first way to achieve a result in PPC advertising is that you should get some impressions, some clicks, even some sales sometimes, to have some metrics in hand so that we can take it from there and improve your metrics and provide you some results.
Okay, sounds very cool. And today we're especially talking about the situations where sellers are having low or no impressions. So I know you have a presentation for us as well. So share your screen and let's see what you have.
Okay, let's look at our presentation on troubleshooting low or no impressions in manual way or using some automated systems. First, you need to figure out why you have no impressions at all. The first thing you need to look at is your product on your advertising console in Seller Central. Check for your products if you are in stock, if you have the buy box, or if you have any other error or problem that is reported through Amazon Seller Central advertising system that's given, like, pending review, not eligible, error or something. Just look for that. This can be caused of different things. For example, you may set up the campaign in a wrong way. For example, you put some ASINs instead of SKUs in the when launching the campaign. So as you have no SKUs to advertise to, Amazon is not launching your campaign. And are you in stock? You have the buy box, or how about your product stock level? You can check that one and see your product listing if it's available for people to buy, and there's no problem on that. So first you need to cover the basics for the technicals that your product is eligible for advertising. When you check your product with your ASINs, you need to also look at the keywords as well. Are they ranked on Amazon in organically? Because the organic rank always helps the PPC advertising and sales. A new product doesn't perform like a product that exists in a couple of time before. So you need to check for your keywords. Are they active? Are they getting impressions and clicks organically or in your other campaigns? Or are they? Do they have some index in Amazon, and so it's eligible to advertise in a profitable way? So if you cover the basics about SKUs, campaigns, and keywords, The rest of the things will be some tweaks and adjustments on your campaigns to be able to receive impressions. So it should be the no impressions part, the first part, and from now we should be looking at the low impressions part. Low impressions is that you're getting some impressions, but not enough, of course. So are you bidding enough for the keyword? For example, if you have a competitive keyword or the market have changed, some competitors are aggressively pushing the bids higher. And for these kind of reasons, if you are not competitive on your bidding, you might not be getting impressions. And for this one, we have you can do this manually. Look at the in your Seller Central. You can sort the keywords by some metrics and get some Excel reports and go through them and see the low performing in terms of impression keywords, and then you can increase your bids for that. But we have a system that does this in an automatic way, which is that we periodically raise your bids according to your thresholds, and we will talk about that later. And if you have an auto campaign, if the bid is too low, there must be with an automated system, you need to check for that as well. Maybe you don't realize, but our system or any system might put it into too low than you might be originally bidding because of the bad metrics it's receiving in terms of ACoS. One other thing is that in Amazon PPC, the search term segmentation or keyword segmentation, because you might be bidding the same keyword in different campaigns or multiple times. You probably have some 10 different campaigns, but you put there all of the 10 keywords there, and you're bidding on them on all of them. So this is an internal conflict for Amazon, and they say that they handle it in the best way they can, according to their expressions. So the next thing you want to check for is that are you bidding the same keywords in different campaigns as well at the same time? So you might be having multiple campaigns and bidding the same keyword all over again on all of these other campaigns. So this makes Amazon to handle the conflict here, and they say they can do it in the best way they can. But you don't know what it is. So if you are bidding the same keyword in different campaigns in a duplicated way, Amazon algorithm will give the priority to the keywords that are getting better metrics according to their timeline, or giving the priority to those people who are to the keywords that are entered the system before. So this is a trick that you need to check for the same keyword in other campaigns, that you need to be sure you are only bidding a keyword once in your account, so with the right product and the right conversion levels. And another thing you need to check for is that is the product in your subcategory still, or is it removed without you knowing that? And if nothing else works, you raise the bids, everything is working, you're receiving some impressions, and it's not enough. So you may not want to choose fixed bids in Amazon Seller Central campaign settings, or in our system as well. If you choose fixed biddings, the Amazon will not reduce the bid while bidding on the auctions. So, for example, you might put $5, but Amazon may be bidding 10 cents or 20 cents for the auction when you are bidding against your competitors. So, if you put fixed bids, you're going to be using the bid that you specified in the system. This may cause your ACoS to increase, but you can see that at least for a short amount of time, you can check and see if you're getting more impressions if you bid higher. And for this, up to here, you can do all of this in a manual way in the Seller Central interface and dashboard, but we automated this in a much simpler and easy way. We call it a bid gambler. Despite the name, it sounds risky. It doesn't, because we have the thresholds for that, and we only increase the bid until you get a click. When there is a click happened, we stop increasing your bid. So even if you bid like $5, and you don't get a click, it doesn't mean that you will pay $5. So when the campaigns and keywords are too low in bid, we periodically increase the bid until you get the click. We have thresholds, like you are assigning how much you want to increase per day. For example, you put 20% and your bid is $1, and the bid increment amount is only 120, 144, like this, increasing 20% each time in every 7 days. So until you get a click, this system continues. And after that, when you get the click, we leave it there, we stop the automation, and we move on to other automations when managing your bid. So when you launch your campaign with our system, we only put your keywords in the right match type and the right bidding for your product and be relevant with your product. So we generate exact phrase and broad campaigns and negative exacting phrase, negative phrase and broad campaigns. So you're only bidding on the right match type for each of your campaigns. This provides you the segmentation, avoids internal conflict on Amazon side, and you are bidding on the right match type with the right bid and the right product to make it to get the most out of your advertising budget spent. And with the Bid Gambler, increasing the bid periodically until you get a click, we always obey the maximum bid settings in your thresholds. Also, we stop everything when you receive the click, and the rest of the automations will take in place to adjust your bid. We have some references here that you can see on our tutorials page. You can learn more about adding SKUs and keywords to the PGN, and you can use our bulk editor that if you don't want to wait for our system to increase gradually with a given algorithm, you can select a couple of keywords or thousands of keywords at once, and you can increase the bid with the increase amount, like increase percentage, increase amount. With lots of settings, you can increase the bid in a very fast way to get it up to speed much quicker manually. And we always recommend automating your existing campaigns and gradually switching to PGN system. For this, we will be avoiding internal collusion or internal conflict on your bidding the same campaigns. And when you move to PGNs, we take it from there, and we will continuously automate your campaigns with our rules and algorithms that has been designed and perfected over 5 years to provide you some good results.
Thank you very much. Very great. I guess one of my first questions about impressions is it always good to have a lot of impressions, and should the goal always be to receive as many impressions as possible?
Yeah, if your metrics are good, like your ACoS is in your given threshold, your margin, it's always best to have the maximum impressions and spend as possible. I mean, if I'm getting the right ACoS, like my target is, for example, 25%, I'm getting it, I would like to be able to spend $1 million on it, because I'm going to be making a profit. The more I spend and more impression I get, the more profit I will be getting, because I'm profitable in my range.
Okay, and now going back to the issue of getting low impressions, if the seller would like to raise the bid in order to have more impressions, then how do you recommend increasing the bids? Like, what's the amount a seller should increase their bid, like, at once?
Yeah, if you are increasing the bid too much at once, while it may spike the Amazon algorithm, you might be getting too many clicks with the higher bid you specified, ending up spending too much on these keywords. Maybe you generate some sales or no sales at all. So there's going to be a much bigger loss than you would expect. So to overcome this situation, we limited the increasing of bid by the set increment value you set in your threshold settings in our system. For example, 20%. If you're doing it manually, we recommend you it's 20% per day. So Amazon has some time to put it into their system and test it, and you can see some results with the new bid. So it should be fine. And in our system, you can change it with our system, and this is the amount of bid you will increase every day until you get some clicks. You're not going to, for example, you're at $1 and you put $5. Yeah, you may get some clicks, but with the high amount of spend, it would be very hard to recover in terms of ACoS later. So we do it gradually, and I think it's the best way.
Okay, cool. So let's say the seller has desirable amount of impressions now, but the clicks aren't coming as well as impressions are. So there are a lot of impressions, but the number of clicks is still low. What that means for a seller? What can be done in order to increase the number of clicks as well?
If you have some impressions but no click at all, we call it click-through rate. People are seeing your ad, but they're not clicking. The good side is that you're not spending money at all. The bad side is that when you don't get any click, you don't get any sales too. So you're back to beginning. So to increase that, you need to increase the product relevancy to the right buyer. You need to use the right keyword and right product combination. If your keywords are not relevant to your product, people will see your ad when they search for it, but they will not click on that. Also, you can use the same SKU metric. The same SKU metric is showing in the system. When the people click the product, are they buying the same product that you advertise for? For example, you may have different type of hats, and you put them in a group of SKU and advertise for all of them. Amazon is rotating them, but you see that you have some 10 sales, but same SKU sales are only 2. So you need to watch out the SKU you are advertising for the keywords. So it should be nearly the same. The perfect one is the same SKU sales are normal sales, because that means that people are buying the product that they're clicking on it. So you need to improve relevancy and the keyword and product combination.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about impressions, and especially when sellers do not have enough impressions or just the number of impressions is low. So if anybody has any questions regarding to this topic or about ZonTools, then what's the best way to reach out to you? And could you once more explain what ZonTools does to help Amazon sellers?
ZonTools automate this process and more within the set algorithms in the system. So when you go to ZonTools, we have some free tutorials that you can watch through, not learning about ZonTools only, but you will learn about PPC in general and how it works. We explained it in detail in our tutorials page. Also, we have Ask.ZonTools, our free keyword research tool. You can request some reports to get some relevant keywords for your product in our system that we use Amazon API systems to gather some data, and it's free. You can download the reports with your email. And the most important thing we do is that rather than allowing you to build your own algorithms, we have a perfect system that we tried and we explored over 5 years. that avoiding some internal conflicts. For example, a situation might for example, you are always setting some rule time frame, right? Because you don't want to be looking at all of your data when you have been a seller for a couple of years. You just look at the recent 60 days, 100 days or something. And within that time frame, when you put some rules like when there's a click, we will stop the bid increment, right? For example, and it happens. And what if that click goes out of your rule time frame window? For example, you set 60 days and there's a click and your automation stopped there, and it's 85 days since your click. So your system will resume again, increasing the bid. For example, this will give you the bad metrics because you already tested your keywords and didn't work well. You only restart the system because your click is out of window. So we overcome these situations. For this situation, for example, we required you to edit your rule thresholds to be able to restart the automation. For all of these kind of things are always happened and tested over the years. We are providing service to our customers, and they are fixed, and the system is clean with filtered from all of these internal conflicts. So when you buy a system with the strategy inside, like our Zone Tools, you don't have to worry about anything. Just define your product with the thresholds, and you're good to go.
Okay, sounds really good for the sellers. So thanks again for joining me, and we wish good luck in your business.
Thank you very much. Good luck too.
I hope you learned something new when Tarek talked about no impressions and low impressions in your reports. And now I would like to invite you to watch full demo of Zone Tools. It's a software to automate and optimize your PPC campaigns. And here Tarek goes through all their tool and explains how to use it in your Amazon business. Enjoy.